Hey everyone, so today I am going to be talking about our fertility journey. And before I get too far into anything, I just want to mention that I don't know who's going to watch this video, but if you're someone that's watching and your story or journey may be way different than mine, you may have experienced way more than I ever did, or maybe less. And but I just want to mention that you're in my thoughts and prayers because I have been through it, and no matter what your journey is, the heartache's the same. And so I just want to start off with that, and I just want you to know that I'm here for you. I will link my Instagram in the description box below, and or you can comment here, or you can DM me there. I would love to hear your story, but I just want you to know that my heart is with you. So we'll get started. So back in 2016, the summer of 2016, it was, because my last semester of college was that fall. I graduated in December. So that summer, Jordan and I, started talking about babies, and we just said, let's start trying. And by trying, we just meant we weren't going to be preventing. So I wasn't tracking anything. I wasn't going too into debt on anything because we were really busy. Like I said, I was in my last semester of college that coming semester, and I was working, and Jordan had just started his teaching job. So we were busy people. And so that whole time, from I think it was like May or June, I want to say, when we started trying, to December, obviously nothing happened, and I didn't stress about it too much. I mean, I was a little concerned. I was like, well, I guess it's just not the right time. And but in January, I was working at the same place, but I got a promotion after I graduated college. I became the general manager, so I was running a swim school, and it was pretty stressful. I loved my job. It was a lot of fun, and it was exciting, new adventure every single day, but at the same time it was very stressful and a very hard job. So I was still stressed, maybe even more than I was my last semester of college, and we were purchasing a house, and if you've gone through that before, it's not an easy process. So again, we were still trying. We weren't preventing. It's kind of on the back burner, I guess. We just weren't being concerned with it or anything like that. And then summertime rolls around. We decided, I think it was the time for my yearly checkup. So I went to the doctor in June of 2017, because we'd been trying for a year at this point, not preventing for a year at this point. So I was like, it's been a year now. I think when I go to my doctor for my yearly checkup, I'm just gonna mention something about it. So I went in and had my checkup, whatever, it was fine. And at the end, the doctor had asked, do you have any questions for me, any concern, anything like that? And I was like, actually, yes, I do. And I had to explain, Jordan and I had been trying to get pregnant, or we had been, trying, and nothing was happening. And of course, she'd asked me all the questions. I've been tracking, and I had been tracking a little bit. My period was irregular, and so some months I would do good with tracking. I was using the Glow app. Some months I would do good with tracking it, and then I wouldn't have a period, and then I would miss a couple months. So it was just all over the place, and I was so busy, it was hard to track. And then in January, I had started using ovulation test, and they were expensive, and I thought they weren't working because I wasn't getting a positive ovulation. And when the Glow app was saying I was ovulating, I was not getting a positive ovulation. So I was like, well, these are expensive and they don't work. So what's going on with these? And so she just basically said, well, let's just do, I hadn't been emotional about this at all until this point when I was talking with her. I don't know what triggered it, but I just began like bawling in her in the office. I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was like, you know, maybe we should just stop trying. And she was like, no, like, she was so sweet. She was the sweetest thing ever. She was just like, you know, it's okay. She's like, you're healthy, you're not overweight. And so she said, you know, let's do a couple of tests and just see, you know, let's find the issue and then we're gonna go fix the issue. And that day, I think I had my blood taken that day. And then we scheduled a couple weeks out for me to come back for the ultrasound. I went back in and I had my ultrasound, and the lady was quiet the whole time. She didn't tell me anything really that she was looking at, which I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but I guess it was a bad sign. From the test results, so from the blood work and the ultrasound, they diagnosed me with PCOS. And PCOS it stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I'd heard about it before, but I had never done any like research about it. And basically, I'm not going to go into too many details of what it is, but it's basically a hormonal disorder, and it can affect several areas of your body, and one of them being infertility. So it was really devastating news. It was hard to hear, especially, I know a lot of women out there that, you know, when you fall in love, and even before we got married, I was thinking about kids. Like I was not at that moment ready to be a mom, but I knew in the future, like, I wanted to be a mom. It's something I always dreamed of being. Like, I love kids with passion, and hearing that it wasn't going to be so easy to get pregnant was, it was really hard to hear. And like, my world stopped, and she was just talking and talking and talking to me, and I remember just like drowning her out. Like, my head was just spinning. I don't remember a whole lot of what she said, but from that point she sent me over to the fertility specialist that was there in the office. Kind of talked about what my plan was going to be. So they were going to start me on letrozole, which is, I don't really have a whole lot of details on it, but it's just a pill basically to help me ovulate. But first, Jordan had to be tested. He's going to kill me for saying this on here. But Jordan had to be tested before I could start anything, because they wanted to make sure that both of us weren't an issue, that it was just me. So I couldn't start anything until his results came back. His results came back fine. So luckily I was just the issue. It's better, I guess, to have one instead of two of us being an issue. And so this is now in July of 2017. And in July we went on a cruise, and of course when we were on the cruise I started my period. So, and you have to take letrozole, I believe it's cycle days 3 through 7. So I couldn't start it then, and so we had to wait another month. Thankfully I did have a period in August. So I just called the fertility specialist the first day of my period, and I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the first day of your period is cycle day 1. And so I called her the first day, and then she called me a prescription, and I started letrozole day 3 of that cycle. So this was August, my August cycle. And it was not a successful round of letrozole. I went in, I believe, for another ultrasound, and they just checked everything. Really didn't ask a whole lot of questions, because when I tell you, my head was just, during this whole process, my head was really spinning. Like, I was kind of frustrated at myself for not caring about it sooner, and not, like, when we were trying, you know, trying for so long, and, you know, I was wondering why it wasn't happening. Like, I was kind of upset at myself, if I'm gonna be honest. So when she was talking to me, I just wanted to know what I needed to do. I didn't want to listen to what they had to say. I just wanted to know what needed to happen next. And so they kept me on the same the same dosage of letrozole for September. I'm gonna look at this picture and see how much the dosage was. I guess 5 milligrams of letrozole, because you had to take 2 tablets by mouth cycle days 3 through 7, and each pill is 2.5 milligrams. So I was on 5 milligrams. They did not change it. And so now we're in the September to October time of the second round, basically. And I had done more research on what are some other like supplements that I could try to take to like maybe help my hormones, help my body. And I came across something called Ladies Balance, and I will link it in the description box below. I'm not sure if it really helped or not. I enjoyed using it, and I felt like my money was well spent on this one. So, so we're on round 2, and now we're into October. October of 2017 was my breaking point. I remember feeling like I hit rock bottom. I had hit rock bottom. I remember the heartbreak. Like, I remember thinking I was never gonna get pregnant. I remember researching adoption, like foster to adopt agencies, to see what we were gonna have to do to prepare for that situation, because I was thinking it's never gonna happen. Like, we're over a year into this. There's no way we're ever gonna be able to afford to do IVF if we have to go to that situation. I mentally cannot handle anymore. I was just I was at rock bottom, and I wish I would have opened up to more people about it, because I was holding all of this in for so long that it was just building up inside of me. And I do want to mention, on kind of a side note, that I am a believer and I do trust God. And I remember people telling me it's all in God's timing, and I did not want to hear that at the time. I knew it, and I definitely know it now, but it is not what I wanted to hear at all. And you know, I just remember specifically in the month of October on my knees crying and praying, like, why me? Why am I not getting pregnant? Why is everybody else around me not having any issues getting pregnant? You know, I worked around moms and kids and would see people walk in pregnant all the time, and I was just so depressed. And I remember I remember praying, and I don't know what clicked in me. I mean, it was probably God telling me you're not praying the right way, but I was praying with doubts. I wasn't trusting, and I really feel like this season of my life was a huge learning season for me, and began to really have faith and trusting that it was going to be His timing, and that when it was His timing, I was ready. And I'm getting emotional now. But I remember October was my break. I wanted to stop trying at this point, but something clicked in me to keep on trying. So now we're like the October into November cycle, and I had another one, and so we started another round of letrozole, and I remember taking it, and I prayed with each one that I took, and just kept saying, it's gonna be God's timing, it's not my timing, it's gonna be so perfect on His timing. And, you know, instead of looking at people and saying, why is this not happening to me, I started looking at people, and I was just saying, like, God bless them, and our blessing's gonna come, and we just gotta trust in Him. I like literally, when I know I've repeated that a lot, but that's what I had to tell myself every single day, and I had to believe it and not just say it, and I had to say it without doubting. So, you know, we're in this, I take this other round of letrozole, and I am taking I had to take ovulation tests throughout all of this. So like my first round of letrozole, I didn't ovulate at all. I had to start taking ovulation tests cycle day 10, and I took them all until I got had my period, and I never ovulated. And then the second round, I did finally get a positive ovulation. And I found out it was cycle day 22, which is way later than normal. Like normal is like 12, 14, somewhere around that. And so, you know, at least I finally found out when I was ovulating from that round. And I found a much cheaper option. So I can link these down below too. But, because I was using like the First Response, like super expensive ones. But the ones you can get from Amazon are so much cheaper. And it comes with a ton of them, and they work just as well. Like I literally had a notebook, piece of paper. I took my test and I laid out all of them. Like I don't think I have a picture of it anymore. But I did the time I took the test. I took 2 a day. I took 1 in the morning, 1 at night. From cycle day 10 to all the way until I ovulated, or until my next cycle started. So, you know, so I'm taking my test, and I'm doing all the steps, but I'm done with trying. I was so over it. Like when I tell you I was over it. And so now it's towards the end of November, and you know, I've taken my test, I've ovulated. We had a Christmas party at our house, and I kind of felt off that day. I didn't know what it was about me. I just remember feeling off. And so that this was on a Sunday, so that next day, the Monday, I got up and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a test and just see. And I got another faint line. And I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know if I needed to be sad, if I needed to be happy, or if I didn't know what to feel. It was definitely a darker line than my first faint one. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I remember I didn't know what to do. And, you know, I called the doctor again to schedule my blood test. And we scheduled it, but she said that, you know, let's take another one in the morning and see if that one, if it like kind of goes away again, or if it gets darker. And so I just remember that whole day just feeling torn. Like I didn't know if I was really pregnant. I didn't know how to feel. And I wanted to wait to tell Jordan until I knew it was for sure, but like I couldn't wait. And I think I had told like a few friends, because I literally, when you're going through a process like this, you just want to tell everybody because you want people to support you. And so I took one the next morning. It was actually, she's like, make sure it's your first pee of the day. And so I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think I took the digital one first, and it said pregnant. And then I took like 3 more because I didn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. And it's at 4 o'clock in the morning. Obviously I wanted to tell Jordan in a cute way, but he knew what I was doing in there, so there was no cute way to tell him. Yeah, it was really exciting for sure. But then doubts just flooded my head. I mean, pretty much my entire pregnancy, I just had this thought, I'm gonna miscarry. Like, it took me so long to get pregnant that I'm gonna miscarry. And I didn't, thank goodness. But I just remember having that fear my entire pregnancy. And but anyways, I went in for the blood work, and I screenshotted my results so that I could tell you what my numbers were. So sorry, it's way at the bottom here. So the first one was on December 20th. My results from that day, my HCG level was 651. And my progesterone was 46.4. So definitely pregnancy numbers. But I had to go back in 24 hours to make sure that my numbers were rising. And so I went back on, or it was within 48 hours. The other test was on the 22nd, so 2 days later. and they just want to make sure that your numbers are doubling. And so on the 22nd, my HCG level was 2197, like it was through the roof. I was so terrified that we were gonna have twins. Like, it made me nauseous thinking about it. And then my progesterone was 34.8. So that was, I was in such disbelief for the longest time about it, and I couldn't wait to tell parents. We were trying to wait till Christmas, and we were successfully waiting to Christmas to tell his side of the family and like my extended side of the family. But for my my mom's, with my mom, I don't remember if it was the day that I found out I was pregnant or if it was like I think it was the next day, maybe like the 21st. My grandmother went into the hospital, and she had a brain cancer, brain tumor, and I'm not gonna be able to get through this. And she had to have surgery, and the surgery went well and everything. We were able to tell her that I was pregnant, and she was one of the people that, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. She was one of the ones that that I had told that we were going through this journey, and I know she was praying for us. And so her surgery went good. I told her everything, and we're so excited. And then we did do the blood test to find out the gender, and it was supposed to take like 2 weeks or something after, but we found out early, and we were able to tell her we were having a girl. And then just a few days later, she was in hospice, in the hospital, totally sedated, and then she did end up passing away. So when I say, oh my goodness, I need to stop crying. When I say God's timing is perfect, like it's so perfect, and it couldn't have been the more perfect time to find out that we were having a baby, and I'm glad that we got to tell her. So that's pretty much our journey. I probably missed a few things here and there. Like I said in the beginning, I really need to stop crying actually. Like I said in the beginning, I know people go through a much more intense process, like people that go through IVF and have miscarriages and things like that. My heart hurts for you because I couldn't imagine the pain that you're feeling. And you know, just like I said in the beginning, like if you're going through this, like I promise you, I'm praying for you, because I know the pain of trying and it not happening and hitting rock bottom is so hard, and thinking that it's never gonna happen to you is so hard. But I'm here to support you, and I promise that, and I mean that with my whole heart, that that I'm here for you. And I guess I could mention something else. This is kind of awkward to tell, but I wish I kind of would have mentioned it earlier. When I think it was the 3rd round of letrozole, when I was doing research, I came across something called pre-seed, and parents, you may want to just exit out right here. But it's, you can do the research on what it is, but it is called pre-seed, and I guess I can link it down in the description box below. We did use it the round that we got pregnant. I'm not saying that it's gonna work for, like I said, I'm by no means a doctor. And I'm just a person with PCOS that wants to tell you what I did, and it could work for you, it may not. but that was something that we used. So I really hope that this video helps some of you, and I'm so sorry for getting emotional. But I just thought, and today, actually December 18th, is the day that I found out I was pregnant last year. So that's why I wanted to film it on this day. I don't normally ask for my videos to be shared, but if you would share this video so that people can hear kind of what I went through, and it may be helpful to them if they're going through a infertility journey. And if it meant something to you, I would love to hear that. You can comment down below, you can message me. If you have any questions for me, anything like that, I would love to answer those as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and have your bell notification turned on. And we will see you all tomorrow.